Good morning and welcome to the Beastcoast morning show. I'm Dan Offen, aka Mr. BigJams, and I am joined by the Glasses boys themselves. It's Neph and Nomad. Nomad, how is it going this morning?
Terribly.
Terribly. Neph,
Yeah.
how is it going this morning?
Terribly.
Excellent. I'm okay. So tweet us. I think we're slightly below average. Let's talk about TI then. We've got upcoming games. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Blistering of anticipation, Nomad?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a great day. Very interested to see what happens in this upper bracket. Is the China dominance going to ring true, or is the SEA and the CIS boys gonna pull through? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. And then, of course, down in the lower bracket, we got some best of 3 action happening today, and it's always fun to get the the proper series getting underway. We had the Death Mall yesterday. We had the best of 1 Smackdowns. Those are out of the way now. We get the proper series now.
It was the day of heartbreaks yesterday, but we're through it, and only a couple of heartbreaks still to go.
I'm not through it, Dan.
You're not through it.
No.
What heartbreaks have you still got to go, Neph?
This is the Beast Coast show. Beast Coast is gone. What's the point anymore? I barely got out of bed this morning. I just didn't have the energy. Nomad's having an awful day as well. He didn't get to put Beast Coast in his fantasy. I know he's got a Hector card or something like that. Nomad, talk to us about fantasy. I'm stealing the show from Dan.
Yeah, it was a rough one. I woke up this morning and was like, oh, just log in and do my fantasy real quick. Didn't get there in time. Apparently needed to do it like 2 hours beforehand. Don't have anything in my fantasy. I was second place on my friends list. I was beating all the sweaty tryhards that usually beat me, but
Now you're down with me.
you forget one day and everything just falls apart so quickly, and it's a emotion I'm used to feeling these days.
You were so pleased when we pushed the show back an hour. You're like, yes, an extra hour of sleep, but that was your curse.
It really was. Yeah, my laziness became my ultimate destruction, which is ironic in a way.
There you go. Okay, let's go into
Back on topic.
matches that we're most excited about today. What are you most looking forward to today, Neph?
The Hassan Bowl. Today's the
Bowl.
day. This comes only once every several years, and Mom says that it's Yawar's turn to win the international.
Do you know what the win rate is between the two brothers?
I have absolutely no idea. This is something that I should have on hand.
If you were to guess, what would you guess?
It would be
almost
50%. 80% for who? You've got the stat open right now?
I don't have it open right now, but I would assume it would be.
You do look like a
heavily
man who knows
slanted
what he's
towards the
talking
male.
about.
Yeah, just trust me, guys. I haven't done any research, and I don't actually know stats, but I can make up stats and sound very convincing. Yeah, so it's 83.4% for force male, and actually it's a draw. 3.7%. No, I'm joking. I don't have any idea yet. Let me. Neph, are you looking it up?
No, I was going to allow you to do that.
He's away. He's aware of the theories already. While Neph thinks about those theories, Nomad, what are you looking forward to today?
Well, I'm not allowed to say Hassan Bowl, so
yeah, it's been taken.
I'll say OG versus Quincy. No, I'm kidding. It's got to be the elimination games. Like upper bracket's great and all, but Team Spirit versus Fnatic, I don't know. I'm excited to watch Team Spirit avenge Team Undying.
Who isn't? I think it's going to be a good day. I'm looking forward to seeing PSG, LGD in the top bracket. They are been much hyped as one of the best teams of this international, and I've enjoyed watching them in the group stages. But you have to watch 4 matches at the same time in the group stage. How much attention and emotion can you really put into it? So I'm excited to see them roll on through. And I think on that note, we're going to bring in our special guest for this morning's show. He is a man who knows a lot about Chinese Dota, and
we're going to address the elephant in the room already, huh?
Yes, that is a joke that I hope we wouldn't make across this whole show. And I was delighted when Elephant got eliminated, so that joke wouldn't be made. Let's bring in Mr. Bkop. Bkop, talk to me a little bit about your emotions from yesterday, seeing 2 of your favorite Chinese teams eliminated.
Upset but expected. I feel like I kind of watched what I've seen all year round. Aster, very good against Chinese teams, not so good against non-Chinese teams. They had it and then they didn't. And then Elephant never had it, but we've been saying the same thing about them for a long time, that they've just not had it. And it's just been game after game after game of watching them underperform, where you're expecting this super team, probably falling to a little bit of the first iteration of secret syndrome, where you've got all these superstars and too many chefs in the kitchen. So they ended up falling. And I'm not too shocked. Sad, because I'm a big FY fan though.
How many chefs do you think they can have in a kitchen? How many chefs could a Dota team have maximum, do you reckon?
How many chefs were in Ratatouille? About that many, I think, would be the proper amount of chefs in a kitchen.
I love how that's your point of reference for a professional
Ratatouille?
kitchen.
It depends if you count Remy as a chef or as just a rat.
100%, he's a chef. Come on.
What's the...
Man, honestly, you up there on your high horse being like, "Oh, is Remy really a chef?" Jesus, what a
He's
I
a
was
rat.
thinking-
He can't be a
thought
chef.
Remy
The
was the
only
name
chef.
of the...
Everyone bully
God.
BigJams.
well, yeah,
Well-
he's been mean to my boy Remy. What
thought
did he
he
do
was...
to you?
Remy was the guy. What's the guy called? Pantalini or something?
Linguini.
Linguini, there we go.
I
Is he a chef?
Definitely didn't just watch that movie like 2 days ago.
No, you just know the movie back to back off by heart.
Yeah,
It's his Bible.
that is.
Well, you're wearing a Vici jacket, so why don't we go into Team Vici Gaming first?
Sure.
Their match today up against VP. Talk to me about... It's written as IG in the sheet, that's where I got confused. Talk to me a little bit about that. What are we expecting to see come out of Vici VP today?
Honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised with how Vici have been playing. I feel like there has been at least a couple moments where they haven't felt like Vici. Especially Ori. I think he has been probably there's so many strong mid laners in China, and it's almost like he's not even in the conversation, which is wild to think about. Ori, someone who's been so flashy, so good, you don't even think about him at times. I mean, it feels like there's more talk about White Album on a team that's been, disaster, aka, can't spell disaster without Aster, and you've got guys like Eurus, who I think are continually talked about as I don't know, undervalued. I think he's amazing. I think Erica Poyoyo, sorry, using his old name here, but I think that Vici, they look really good right now, and I honestly think Virtus Pro might struggle. I think sometimes it's not that China gets underestimated, but I think sometimes people think it's still TI2 and China's just there for the farm game. And VP might be, shocked to see that they play pretty aggressively. And I'm hoping for I'm saying 2-1 Vici. I can't do 2-0. I've already lost too many points in Super Pog.
There we go.
I would like to say, I think the most interesting thing about Vici and Virtus Pro in this matchup is that usually Vici kind of, I feel like they really like to win their safe lane. They love putting Poyoyo in a good position where they can get something like Slark or Troll Warlord and, in like a really good situation in a great lane or even Monkey King, and then just try and really dominate that safe lane along with DY on something very aggressive. And VP, they like to dominate their off lane. Like they've got DM, who's just like the most ridiculously. I mean, DM is the most skilled off laner probably in the world when it comes down to just pure mechanical skill. He is very, very good. And VP love to just bully the enemy carry. That seems to be one of the primary factors when they play this game. So DM and save, again, they like to be very dominant as well. So I think when you're watching this matchup, like watch the off lane for Virtus Pro and watch the safe lane for Vici, because these two teams are going to be battling it out for control. I don't know how much that's going to affect the rest of the game, but I would wager that whoever wins that lane is probably going to feel so much more comfortable coming into the mid game and probably have a huge advantage over the enemy team. So I'm really excited for that aspect.
Neph, which of the V boys are you rooting for?
The V boys. Is that what they are?
Vici and VP, the V boys.
Good boys,
This is China's here. It's got to be VC that I'm rooting for. Virtus Pro. It's nice to see so many young talent on the team. I think I talked about that one a lot yesterday. China's got a lot of young talent, but I think youngest overall roster on Virtus Pro. I think even though they've got the young Zoomer brains and the fast reflexes on their side, they're not going to have enough experience to take down VC. This is China's year, man, and that's why we brought on China expert Bkop here, who, for some reason is just holding all the bias in the world. We told him, Bkop, come on, dress professional when you show up today.
Yeah.
We've got a certain standard that we're holding ourselves to. This is a serious show. And he
There was
goes,
a memo?
yeah, but what if VC and LGD both paid me $100 to wear like one piece of their gear each?
What do you have under the LGD top? Is it a elephant top, and then under that, like a Russian doll of
No,
elephant brand boxers, of course.
I actually might have elephant brand boxers on, but it's just what is under the LGD shirt is just
socks.
ugliness, just like the performance that Elephant had against EG.
Oh, that was a nice transition.
I love you guys,
nasty.
but I gotta burn them.
It was sad.
So what differentiates VG from what makes them a special team? Because they don't get talked about very much. They're kind of in that hinterland of teams, of good teams that are just kind of solid. I think from what I've watched of them, they do seem actually quite different and interesting. If we could highlight what that is, that'd be good.
Yeah, for me at least, Vici. I have two different highlights. I hope that's okay. I brought a little extra credit. I'm trying to brown nose the teacher. I'm sorry. But what I'm thinking about when I think about Vici is Broodmother hasn't been picked yet, right? I'm thinking about Broodmother for Vici. We've seen it be a killer pick for them. I'm hoping maybe we see a Broodmother from them, but the more important highlight for Vici is their support duo. PYW, DY, probably one of the best support duos in China, which, I mean, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be biased. I don't just wear this just for show. Probably makes them the best support duo in the world. Take that every other team, because I think they're honestly just absolute legends, and they're good on your fantasy points too, which is the best part, because then I can say I'm better than my entire
Come on, man.
friends list. And I was towards the top. They'll put me towards the top, maybe a second place, if you will. They'll put me towards, but yeah, PYW, DY, and I think what nobody really talks about, because there's been so much talk and discussion about coaches in China with the whole discussion of ROTK with Elephant. I think nobody really talks about the fact that Fenrir is behind this lineup, and that is a guy with a massive amount of experience. And it is just like, how do you not talk about how much that's made a difference? Because Vici, honestly, they've been the quiet killers. They're hiding behind the curtains. They're calling you and telling you, do you know where I am? And, screams coming out. I'm trying to get really into the references right now. But Vici, they're in the room. The call is coming from inside the house, and they are going to just show up and annihilate everybody in their path.
Let's move on then to the second matchup in the upper bracket we've got today, which is PSG LGD versus T1. Actually, that's the first one. It's coming up in just 40 minutes. PSG LGD, everyone's favourite to win. They're probably my favourite to win. Are they all of your favourites to win? Are we in consensus here?
Yeah, my friendship with Vici is now over, that we are done talking with them. I'll get this out of the way. Let me tell you, it's now all LGD time. That's for sure.
Cuckoo is a very funny dude, but LGD is the team to win. After IG will win the whole tournament.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So talk to me about what you like so much about PSG LGD, Neph.
Domination. The fact that even their coach is able to play carry. The fact that they won a tournament without nothing to say, who is seen as the best mid laner in the world. I don't know, Dan. You talk to me about it. They're the clear favorites. They're head and shoulders above everybody. The only pro with more DPC points was Evil Geniuses, and Evil Geniuses looks rough as hell. I think that they happen to be peaking at a very good time. They're in great form. None of the players got COVID, which is a little bit unlike some of these other Chinese teams.
What I wanted to bring up about PSG LGD, and this is weirdly not getting talked about that much, is that why it's his chance to win a second Aegis here, which I think is probably almost more, if he does win it, I think it would be a more impressive achievement than OG winning it twice in a row, because he's won it with two different teams.
Fuck OG, man. I agree.
Go ahead. What
Faith Bian as well, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
Faith Bian was on wings as well. Yeah.
So that's two people who can win a second Aegis with a different team. I think that's a big one. Is it? Who can tell me a little bit about why, as a captain, what do you think he's bringing and making in this team?
Sure,
ahead.
I can jump on that. Why not? Um, the thing is, when you have like the best carry player in the world and the best mid laner in the world, it does sound very easy to make the team work. But look at Elephant. They have who could arguably be considered a contender for the best mid laner in the world. Their carry player was definitely considered the best carry player in the world at one point. But that team is kind of, I don't want to say poo poo, but they haven't done great. They've struggled at TI, and they come from a region which is very strong right now, so you got to ask the questions what's going on there. And the answer is they don't have innocence. You know, they blamed everything on Red Panda. They were like, "Oh, you're rubbish. That's why we're losing. We're kicking you, and we're getting in Super." And then Super was like, "What is this hot mess? I can't do this either." And they ended up doing way under how they would have wanted at TI. So obviously it's really important when you have these amazing players to have an amazing captain who can lead your team and make these plays and make these calls, and that's exactly what innocence is. Obviously we don't get to hear too much from the guys because communication with the Chinese scene is always difficult. We have to rely on translations and such, but it's very obvious that he's a huge influencing factor on this team, because like no team will be doing this well without an incredible captain, and the calls which LGD make are absolutely incredible. Like they just have this way of moving around the map and playing not even to their item timings, not even to their level timings, just they seem to imagine their own timings, which is really weird. Like they'll be halfway through BKBs and I'll be like, oh, LGD are so weak right now. And they just like run 5-on-5 and somehow win the fight. I'm just like, what? But the enemy team just finished like 3 items. How did they? But LGD don't care. They don't care what you're going to do. They don't care about what the game's supposed to do. Everyone else seems to run through this checklist on things they have to do. Oh, we have to finish our BKBs, and we go into enemy jungle, then we take Roshan. LGD, they've already taken Roshan. They're already hitting your tier 3 tower. Why? Who knows? What's going on? I don't know. But Innocent's just full of these crazy plays which don't seem to make sense, but they always work, so they obviously do.
He's like the opposite. They're like the opposite of the Lions, taking good fights rather than just the worst fights at every possible moment.
They go across the river, so yes, they're the opposite of a lion.
Neph, is there anyone that stands out for you other than Wyon, PSG, OGD? And the 2 obvious ones. So I'm leaving you very minimal options for who you can pick here.
So I'm left with like just the carry basically, right?
So you're not allowed to pick as your standout. Why you're not allowed to pick Faith Beyond because he kind of got mentioned. You're not allowed to pick Arme or Nothing to Say. So aside from those people, is there anyone who stands out for you on?
But I wanted to pick Ame. Mom says I get to pick Ame. Can I talk about the fact that yesterday on Twitter, I believe it was Leon Arthur who posted that the asking price for Ame was, what was it, $8 million?
I think that's a piss off asking price. That's not a serious one. That's like, we don't want to sell him.
I don't know. I don't know, man. If
I
you
think
can
Aster got a lot of that though. A lot of Aster got a lot of piss off prices because I remember that was like right before they put SCCC in the safe lane, if I recall correctly. And he was like, "Oh, I'm moving from mid to safe lane. They probably got a great offer for him." And like, how could we pass up on someone who is so great in SCCC? And that Ame price is definitely just like a, hey, yeah, I'm give me a number, 8 million. Match it, do it. That's what it feels like. You're right.
All right. Fair enough, but if the man is going to bring you home the 8, is it worth the $8 million? That's the question. The answer is yes. That's how good he is.
Yeah,
I thought that was a fun fact to pull up that he tweeted out yesterday. I don't know. That's like kind of a cop-out answer to your question, though, as far as
No,
things.
it's a good little fact. But let's talk about T1 then to close up on the upper bracket. I think they've been good. 23 Savage, I think, is a great player. I think he's an explosive. He's not the best carry in the world, but he's certainly up there. Is there anything else that T1 can bring to help take down this juggernaut?
I think T1's supports have been very, very tight knit, and like the chemistry there has been really good. Zephyr and Whitemon, you know, Whitemon, he gets his food in while the draft's going on. He's always snacking on something. The camera better be there today. If I don't see Whitemon eating breadsticks or caramels,
they better
like
let him have food. If they don't let him have food in the booth, I'm gonna kick off. I'm gonna say this is unfair.
LGD. Yeah,
it's sabotage. Yeah, exactly. It's all LGD.
Because Whitemon, you see it. He just like 1 caramel, 2 caramels. All of a sudden, you see him. He gets
pizza.
it gets real tight
Noodles.
in the seat. He's ready to go, and like they made some really impressive plays in the group stage, especially Zephyr. Like I feel like when you talk about supports on T1, or well, of the two supports, you think Whitemon, because I feel like he's been pretty, I guess polarizing would be the word. He was involved in a lot of social media stuff with the whole Ignition thing. You know, they're gonna light the
That was
Ignition.
hilarious.
That was great. That was honestly one of the best moments in the DPC when we talked about that, and it was really too much. But I love how like loose they feel. They never look like they're too stressed out, and I think that stems from the supports. I think Whitemon and Zephyr are just like the core of that team. I know you've got 23, but yeah,
Do you
they
know
look
why they look so good on the support duo on T1?
the breadsticks.
The breadsticks, and it's because they get to chill out and they get to do their own thing, and it's kind of a good example of what can actually happen when you enable your supports just kind of play the game. Like Cuckoo, he is the leader of this team. You know, he's a dictator of this team. He's fully in control of it. I've heard many people say like he's the deciding factor. I'm not sure about early game in-game calls, but certainly throughout the mid and late game, he makes the shot calls. He's kind of in control of so much about this team. And that really enables his support duo to play very well. And I think it's actually quite interesting when you think about it. Like, should more teams be enabling their POS 5 more than they already are? Because a lot of POS 5s are just like, oh, you're the captain. And, you know, they already got to think about warding. So they've got to think about warding. They've got to think about map movements. They've got to think about their team. They've got to think about their team's timings.
You said
And
warding twice.
maybe. But I was talking one about sentries and one about observers. So that's why I said
I
it twice.
guess
So.
that's
And then
good
again
catch.
about Frankie Ward, the host of TI.
Yes, everyone
Yeah.
has to think about Frankie Ward when they're playing Dota. Very important.
The best teams in the world are very good at Frankie warding.
Yeah, Frankie Warding doing impressions. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting how no other team really enables their support duo quite like T1 does. Like you think Alliance would, because obviously S4 is their captain, but we don't talk about Alliance here until we have to.
Okay, we're close to the start of TI for the day, so let's rocket through to that lower bracket match that we spoke about before. It's the Hassan Bowl of Quincy Crew
Go
versus
finish the
OG.
word that you were going to say. I'm curious now.
What was I going to say? I was just going to say Hassan Bowl,
Okay,
but I kind of got bored midway through saying it.
Alright,
Neph, why don't you talk me through that?
The Sand Bowl
Such a
matchup. I
man
mean,
of little
obviously, a
patience.
team like OG, they're weak. They need to bring in North American talent. You saw Tundra do this exact same thing. If you want to make it to TI, you need the king. Unfortunately, they I don't know, they got knocked down. OG made them look like Secret made OG look like an absolute joke yesterday, but Sumail's had the standout performance so far at the TI. They have been running kind of silly stuff. I think one of the reasons they fell is because they tried to run that Tusk IO combination against Secret, even though they already ran into the group. So if they have any pocket threats to pull out, they need to do it now. But I don't know. I love this sibling rivalry here between the two teams. I think OG has a lot more resources to work with than Quincy Crew, which is a little bit unfortunate. But Quincy, I think, are my favorites going into this one. OG looked incredibly weak the majority of the DPC season, and Quincy Crew, all the way up until TI, have been looking like they're in really good form. Yes, they didn't have the best performance at last major, but I have confidence in them to win this match.
How about you, Bkop? Confidence in whom?
Ooh, I want to go Quincy Crew only because when I tweeted about putting OG out in the group stage, their CEO gave me the question mark response. So, you know, I got to get my little payback there. I think OG drops. You know, I tried to save face and be like, no, I'm making them the underdog. When in reality, I thought to myself, OG's going to drop. Boom, boom. See you later. No 3-time in a row. But honestly, you know, sometimes that brother matchup is always great. You arm wrestle your brother, or they beat the crap out of you and then you get older and then you beat the crap out of them because they're now 40 and you're 28. This isn't my real life, but maybe it is. And you know,
I'm take always millions of dollars out of your brother's hands in a video game match. Hell yeah.
Man, if only my wrestling matches had its stakes like that. But what we really need is like Bruce Buffer to like open this one up and give the Hassan Bowl or somebody like a big announcer to really hype this up. So we should all chip in to get like a cameo of somebody who can really get me and everybody hyped
What about
up.
popular Dota 2 casters Cap and man, it's Kyle Castman. Fine.
I'm gonna clip that and send that to him.
Talking on,
I'm sure he'll understand. Well,
JMR is always responding to me. He's always DMing me little leaks. He's always leaking stuff to me. It's very strange. He's always telling me about Seb and when he's playing or not playing or whatever. It's so strange. Nomad, who have you got for that match?
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go with OG Quincy Crew. They did look good yesterday, but at the same time, they also didn't because I feel like they did
Can we
ultimately.
drop him out of the call? Is that an option?
Quincy
Yeah.
Crew should have lost yesterday, guys. Like I'm
It's
sorry,
very
but
close.
they
What
should
the-
have lost yesterday. Asta choked and they fell to the
So
pressure of
hard.
Leslau. Yeah, I mean they could have lost yesterday.
Be
so,
careful you don't choke later, buddy.
No God.
That is
But
so intimidating as you sip your coffee.
wait a minute.
Red hot.
What have you done? What have you done to this, Neph? I'm
You
not
may have
gonna
seen
leave
someone in a Quincy Crew jersey serve it
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, that is a good point. The barista did have
Quinn Callahan
Quincy Crew
sends his
hat on.
regards.
the Callahan send their regards, but yeah. Anyway, I think it's going to be OG. I think they can't go out this early on. It would be a crap storyline if they were to lose in the lower bracket round 2.
Oh, it'd be great. I get to question mark the CEO back in a tweet, so I'm kind of rooting for it.
Do that doesn't mind that they lose.
It would stand, I don't know, kind of shoulder with their performance the majority of this DPC season. It's been a little bit underwhelming. I think I was genuinely surprised they managed to beat Tundra to get to TI. I was surprised by their performance in the group stage. I mean, yes, they've had amazing performances every TI they've been to, but it would not shock me if this was the TI that they just end up dropping both games and exiting.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice. I mean, what, 95% of analysts?
Get him!
I'm just saying, 95% of analysts are like, I have OG in my top 3. I was like, did you watch DPC at all this year? What were
Yeah, but did you watch
watching?
DPC on TI8? Did you watch DPC in TI9?
I don't
like,
care.
They
Relevancy
don't do well in DPC.
or
They're a
recency.
TI
I'm all about
team, man.
recency. Yeah,
You
well,
guys are like, oh, I can't remember back to 2 years ago for the last TI. I guess OG are rubbish because
yes,
I
2
haven't seen them
TIs
play in
ago.
2 years.
You know how much has changed
One
between
TI ago.
TI9 and TI10?
They
So
won
much.
TI9. What do you mean?
Yeah, I
2
know.
TI?
I'm just saying. No,
Alright.
but you said TI8, so I said 2 TIs ago.
Yeah,
They're getting
I mean,
eliminated.
no, they're not. Nah, Quincy Crew
We'll
are done.
see.
I love Quincy Crew as well. It's going to be a hype match. It's going to be a close match. I'm excited for CCNC versus Topson because I feel like CCNC is a very lane dominating mid player, and Topson's
And
kind of the
Thompson's
opposite.
a very weird mid player.
Doesn't care about his mid lane. He's just like, yeah, who cares about that stuff? I'm just basically, I'm pretty sure like Topson's just in the laning phase. He's just super bored. He's just like, oh, when do I
This
get
is
to go
too
kill
easy
people,
for me.
man. Like,
Oh my god.
Yeah. Thompson is an
Give me a
inspiration
hard
to
hero
mid
to melee.
laners who are lazy
Yeah.
everywhere.
I'd like to
he's
see
just,
his
he's waiting for the
APM.
mid gate. He's like, when do I get to start aping at people? When do I start to like run at the enemy carry?
Keep strong together.
We're close to needing to finish here because the TI is kicking off very quickly. So let's sum up Team Spirit versus Fnatic very quickly in 3 words per analyst. So Neph, what are your 3 words to sum up your feelings on Team Spirit versus Fnatic? And you all have to use different words, no repeat words.
USA.
Those are letters.
That checks out.
What?
Dan, don't make fun of him, okay? He's NA educated.
all
You
I
know. He's doing his best. The fact that he managed to count to 3 should be a blessing in itself.
Nomad, what are your 3 words?
Spirit. Spirit's gonna win.
That's more than 3
Sweet
words.
revenge, baby.
Pretty good. No context further needed. Bkop, hit us off with the headline 3 words.
What's this up? Fnatic will collapse. Boom. See what I did there?
Oh,
Yeah,
that was a
there
good
we
one.
go.
That was a
I
double.
thought you were going to do
bump of-
Fnatic versus Team Spirit. And I would have respected that.
That's 4
actually.
words. That's 4 words. I can't do that one.
Shit, yeah.
There we go.
Maybe I
Well,
can't
let's
count.
let's leave it there then. On that fantastic note, I hope everyone enjoys their games today. We will be back this evening, and then tomorrow morning, and then the evening after that, and then forever until the end of time. But thanks so much for joining us this morning. We'll see you very, very soon.
Bye now.